Hey guys, I'm Rick, and that is one big pile of bricks with our amazing guests, Branko and Max. Woo! Woo! You're not going to clap down? You're just going to stand there? Or there we go. Thank you so much for coming all the way down from Sydney.
Thank you for
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. I know it's been a bit of a weird couple of months trying to pin everything down and getting it all to work, but now we're here.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to come on over.
I appreciate you coming down. I know it's been like a weird, like Instagram's always hard communicating because it's like delays and there's all the sorts of weird stuff, but it's worked out now. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So how are you guys feeling now that Lego Masters is over?
You go
relaxed.
Yeah. it's surprisingly calming. I mean, sure, the show's stressful, and coming back to normal life, you kind of have to get back into the swing of like a calm lifestyle, I guess. But
like HSC.
Yeah.
Something relaxing.
I just finished like my last exams for school, so even then I'm double.
So were you still
now.
doing your schooling even though you were on the show?
Yeah, I was. So at the time I was in year 11, and we were doing like the final exams for year 11.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I kind of had to tell the teachers, they'd be like, I can try doing it whenever I'm not on set, but truth be told, I'm always going to value set higher than like school, just because it's like a once in a lifetime experience as opposed
it's Lego Masters, right?
Exactly. So I wasn't gonna like tell Lego Masters, look, I've got like English exam. No, I was gonna tell the English exam, look, I've got Lego Masters. So
well, I'm sure Brickman appreciated the priority.
Yeah, I think because he's got kids as well, so I feel like he understood a bit more.
Yeah, it's always easier when like and Hamish and him both have kids, so they sort of understand, right?
Yeah.
How was the whole experience overall?
I don't know, like you said, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the whole idea that Max asked me to go on the show, which I thought there's no way they're going to get me on the show, but he got me on the show. And then spending the time with a teenage son. I mean, if anyone who's got teenage kids, that's awesome. Very intense period of very close working together, and pretty much we grew as.
So did you guys have any arguments on set?
Of course.
Yes.
No, not at all.
Yes,
Sorry.
we're still.
It's all roses and peachy and like, wow, Lego Masters.
Exactly. No, every single day we always did a song and dance. No, we were at each other's throats maybe here and there if we had a disagreement, and we quite quickly had to work out a difference from like father and son is how we went on, but if we wanted to continue and not be like arguing, then we had to change to be a bit more like friends and kind of discuss our problems at like an equal level, because father son,
it's hard with father and son, right? Because people don't realize like obviously Branko's going to be like, no, do it this way, and it's always a bit harder.
You can't, it just doesn't work that way.
So did you guys grow because you were on the show? Didn't it make you guys closer?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Max saw that I don't know anything, and I'm learning, and I'm stumbling just as much, if not more, than he is, and the other way around, I could just rely on him to. So
does that make
do
Max
stuff.
the favourite twin?
What? Sorry.
Never say that.
Look at the time.
Well, that's just a bit awkward at home now. Like, Rick said that Max is the favourite.
Yeah, sorry, and I didn't say anything.
Silence filled the room.
Silence says it all. So what's your brother's name?
My brother's name is Warren.
Okay, so Warren, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but this is how it is now.
There's only one son now, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, he's also a fan of Lego, so...
that helps.
Dad still remembers his name, at least, so that's pretty good.
Sorry, who's this?
Is there a reason why you didn't apply with your brother and just apply with Dad?
So I asked Warren, like, when, I guess, the application's open. I was like, hey, do you want to do this thing? It might be fun. Even if we like just do the audition, it'll be a build and we can give it a go. But he didn't seem interested. But both of us are really interested in like film and stuff. But I think the idea of like reality Lego, he wasn't as sure on, because in terms of like Lego enjoyment, I guess our dad's the biggest fan of the household, and then there's like me and then him. So maybe he wasn't as keen on the Lego aspect.
That's
of it.
fair.
Yeah,
and it probably made better TV. Being father and son than two brothers trying not to kill each other on set.
Exactly, two twins, because you don't know.
I would have watched it, but
well, you have to watch it because it's your son, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You can't be like, no, I'm not watching because they're on.
I think as well, if we applied as twins, they would have been like, oh, that's fun. But then realistically, they're like, okay, we need every camera person to understand that they are different people. Because if we're recording one person thinking it's the other, we might end up with an episode.
Because you guys
full of
look
one
pretty
person's
much
footage.
bang on the same, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And we like to try and be different, but we, for some reason, end up kind of looking the same hair-wise or like clothing-wise. We just find ourselves looking the same.
Is it mirror image?
Yeah.
I mean, both of them work at a Lego store in Sydney at the moment.
Wow,
and
cool.
It happens that people walk into the Lego store, they see Warren, and it's like, you're Max from Lego Masters. I'm like, no, I'm his twin. No, you're not. And I'm like,
And
So which
Okay,
Lego
I'm not-
store are you guys based on?
so he's based at the Castle Hill Lego
Oh,
store.
cool, nice.
Yeah, and I'm at the Bondi Lego store.
Oh, wow, and how's that going?
It's going pretty well. Yeah, I've found that I've actually learnt so much more about Lego there than like it's equal to Lego Masters in terms of like how much I've been learning about Lego. Because
It's always hard looking from the other side of the
Yeah.
desk, right? Everyone
Yeah.
thinks working in a Lego store or owning a Lego store is easy, but they don't understand everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of, new set comes out and there's stock shortages everywhere and people come in wanting it.
Oh,
And you're
dude.
like, man, I want it too.
How
I
awesome
would
is
give
that?
it to you
It's
if I
like,
could.
and you're like Lego sent us 4, and they're like, really? Like, yes.
Yep.
Like, oh, you don't have any more? I'm like,
No,
I
can't
want
do
one as
anything.
well, man.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe if there's like a new set that's like being released the next week, you might
Yeah.
have it in the back ready to release.
yeah.
But there's like a little kid who comes up who's like, is it out yet? I've saved all my money. And you're like, we don't have it. Even though you know it's in the back, but you can't sell it
Yeah,
yet.
you can't sell it
Yeah,
because
you
Lego,
can't sell it. Yeah.
like, they're funny about that stuff, which they're allowed to be because it's
Which
their product.
It's
And,
fair enough, yeah. But
and how long have you boys both worked at the Lego stores?
So I started last Christmas, so
Nice.
about
Yeah.
close to a year. And then he started, about
2 or 3 months ago.
2 or 3 months ago. So
Because
he
Joss
started-
works at the Lego stores as well, right?
Yeah. So he's God, Joss has been working at a Lego
Supposedly.
store for a long time. Yeah.
He's at the Newcastle one, though, is he?
Newcastle,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. So you guys are all a bit spread out.
All a bit spread out. We don't usually run into each other because of that work.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting that you decided to apply for a job at the Lego store.
Yeah, well, I mean, after Lego Masters, I
It's
kind
kind of the best resume.
Yeah.
You're like, well, if
I
they
thought
say
it-
no to you, something's wrong. It's like,
Yeah, I was like,
You want me?
know,
It's going to be useful. Trust me.
I can build stuff if you want.
you can
right?
pretend like I didn't win.
I didn't win, but I know Lego, maybe. Yeah. No, I wanted to do a job that was kind of like a nerd thing because
That's fair.
I like my movies, I like my games, and
And
Lego
it's all
as well.
kind of together, right? And that's
Exactly.
the best part. Lego
Yeah.
have their hands in every pie right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're going to be well fed for a long time, I think.
Yeah. Like Harry Potter and Star Wars and everything. So.
Well, it's just, you'd know because you get to see stuff like we do.
Mm.
I don't think people understand how much product they have planned for everybody.
Oh my.
It's
Yeah.
and you always get the delivery like, where am I going to put it?
Yeah. Exactly. we get new stuff in, and we're like, so the shelves are full, and we can't put them anywhere out. But
And
we
it's
have
like,
to
where
put
do you
them
gotta
out.
put it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always that, that catch-22, and you have to have it because people will complain otherwise.
And it's pretty terrible for me as well because he goes to work and I get text messages. Look, Dad, but we got in. I'm like, oh, don't tell me.
You're like, I don't need
I don't
any
even
more.
have to walk to the store anymore
It's
to
just
see
like
all
in-
the
I'll bring
cool
it
stuff
home
they've
for him.
got.
Yeah,
It's just,
that's the thing.
He's got to hit those KPIs, man. So
yeah,
that
no,
makes it-
it's not good for my pocket money. It's good for his.
Sometimes it's good. We get a set in and we need to sell it, and I'll just send him a message, and he'll be like, "Oh, can you bring that home?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can."
Bang,
Free
easy.
delivery, sure thing. I'll do that.
So with the looking back on Lego Masters now, you've had it a whole bunch of times since the show's aired.
Mhm.
Were you guys happy with the way you were portrayed on the TV?
Yes.
I was, yes.
Yeah.
I was very impressed that it, even though they compress like 10 hours of
Yeah.
event into an hour, 45 minutes,
Yeah.
they capture the feel and the essence of the episodes very, very accurately.
Yeah.
So even though you don't get each of the events, you get exactly what it felt like and what it felt like we behaved and how we remembered it. So
That's
I
good. As long
really,
as you
really
guys were
enjoyed
happy.
that.
It's always,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to forget that you forget the cameras are there.
Yeah. So after the first few episodes, especially, you're building and you're focusing. You don't realize that you might be acting a certain way or something. You're like, no, that's not what I meant. I remember there was one episode where we were kind of like under the pump, and the time was really pressure for us. And both of us were like, okay, I think we can get it done, and we weren't realizing we're not going to get it done.
Yeah.
And we were hoping. Our like producer came up to us and was like, you guys realize if you keep acting this way, you're going to look very snobby, even though we didn't intend to be like.
Yeah.
They yeah.
And he just got us to look up around the room and we're like,
Yeah.
oh.
So I was really
crap.
worried that like we might be portrayed wrongly and we wouldn't even realize it because we were so focused we didn't realize just how far.
So
behind
which
we were.
episode was this? Refresh everybody.
This
you
was
remember?
Yes.
yeah, this was the episode where we restarted
That
twice.
was the cut,
Oh,
cut in
yes.
half challenge. We built like a big, I don't know. By the end, we did like a rocket thing that didn't look like a rocket at all. But
Yeah, that was not our greatest triumph, I'd say.
Yeah.
Very happy that we didn't go home on that because that would have been us shooting ourselves in the foot. And
I think it's hard too. People at home don't understand how hard it is.
Yeah.
It's easy for people like me being like, what are they doing? And you'll be like, you don't understand in the time you weren't paying attention, and then time gets away from you.
Exactly. Yeah. And then
it's really not a lot. If you get 10 hours, that's a work day essentially. I
Yeah.
get nothing done if I do a day of Lego in the weekend. You know, I've got 5 bricks on top of each other. I've had a good day.
you're
you
like,
know? It's
Done for the day, and
yeah,
it's always hard too with like being on a national TV show that gets the best ratings. So everyone's looking at you.
Pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And it's kind of forced creativity as well. I mean, you want to be creative because you're in this, like, everyone else is building and having fun, and you've got the resources. You know, the brick pit is amazing. But it's also like, here's your time limit. You have to make something now. And if you don't, you're kind of like wasting that time. So there's that pressure as well. Like, force creativity. Be creative now. Go.
And I found this season it was like shorter times.
Oh yeah, they love that.
It felt massively short. I've not actually looked at the stats, but it felt like
some of the episodes were like the town they give you like 4 or 5 hours short.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are they going to do this? And I'm like watching it because we get to see it before everyone else because of all the podcast stuff. So we get advanced, so we get to see it like 2 weeks in advance. And it's always hard trying not to tell people what's going on because they're like, oh, have you watched Lego Masters? You're like, which episode are they up to now? Because you're trying...
You've seen it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and you have to, because when we were filming earlier in the year, we were filming with, like, Andrew and Crystal.
Yeah.
And we filmed after they got eliminated. So we had to, like... So are you looking forward to being, this episode? Because you have to pretend, right?
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
Same with the interviews at the end of the episode. If you've won or if you've gone home, you don't know until, like... So you have to... Sorry, that you've been eliminated or that you've won. But the interviews, you have to kind of, like...
You have to pretend, right? Is that hard?
It starts
not
out
really.
hard,
It sort of worked. It's all part of the Sunshine and Rainbows. I relied on him for that. He's the actor and the creative mind. So
takes some time because it's kind of like putting on a face to make sure no one can tell whether you've won or whether you've lost in that episode. But it definitely gets easier once you've done it a few times to just kind of feign ignorance and be like, I'm not thinking about the end just yet. I'm thinking about the beginning.
It's kind of hard to think about the end until you get close to the end.
Yes.
So you can sort of taste it, really, right? Like, how did you find at the start with there being such a big gap with eliminations?
I thought it was very generous. I mean, we were sort of going in, wow, it's awesome that they're allowing us on the show at all.
Yeah.
And then it was like, let's see if we can get past one elimination. Let's see if we can get past episode 2. That's what we thought. That's what the first elimination is. And episode 2 came, went. 3 came, went. Episode 4, we didn't even realize really that it was an elimination because we were having so much fun until then suddenly 2 of her friends left.
Yeah.
And
so you're obviously close with Crystal and Andrew?
Yeah. And if you look, you can actually see the episode after just the energy dropped
because everyone had
and
that
they edited it pretty well to sort of keep it up, but it was quiet on the set.
We're actually on a competition.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Even the producers were like, "This is it, guys. I don't know what you were expecting," and we were all kind of like.
We would have liked to say goodbye to our friends, please. That's sort of the thing.
It went home quite quickly. See you later.
Yeah, it was really, they were escorted off premises and sort of like in the cab.
Was that part of the COVID stuff as well? Because you guys were filming during COVID. Do you think that was a big part of it?
Yeah. So
maybe
a bit. Yeah. So we had because we couldn't like leave their hotels or anything to see family or friends, and it meant that when people started going home, it kind of like you have this friend group that's like all the people you have in COVID. It's now you've lost some, so now you have less people that you can hang out with in COVID. And then I mean we were the second to go, but I assume just for the people in the finals.
Yeah, but you weren't the first.
That's true.
Yeah.
No one remembers the first couple.
It still didn't feel good. Oh boy.
Yeah.
No one remembers the first team. Trust me. After all the podcasts we've filmed, the first team to go, everyone's like, "Sorry, who's that?" Like, because you forget because. Lego Masters is such a big show and they film X amount of episodes.
There's a lot of people that go on 4 seasons now. So
and they shove it on you, right? So they squeeze Lego Masters in 3 episodes a week, so they're pumping at you, and then there's a big break.
Yeah.
Which I find always weird. I'm surprised they don't try to stretch it out.
Yeah, one episode a week I feel like could have been doable. But they did 3.
Yeah. I think it's got to do with, because I think it's... Dan might know, because I think Dan watches it. Married at First Sight afterwards or something like that. You do watch that, don't you? Liar.
Yeah, don't out me, all right? I don't watch that. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Dan's someone else. Trust me. Yeah. Nah.
I think they're just trying for ratings, right? Because they're following out Lego Masters and they realise whatever show's going to come afterwards will grab some of those ratings.
Yeah. And also, kids love Lego, so I feel like if they do it very quickly after one another, then the kids won't lose interest. Maybe if it's once a week, the kids will be like...
because they are fighting with video games and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So.
And
I'm
overall,
sure people have thought about it, but it doesn't really make sense, like you're saying.
Well, that's right. Did you guys prepare to go on the show, or would you just jump straight in? Did you watch previous seasons and be like, hey, I don't want to pull like a Kale, or I don't want to do this? Like, was it all like,
We were fans of the show beforehand, so we kind of like knew what we were going into, and then we obviously were saying like don't pull a kale and don't go too large, and we had little things like that, but we never really practiced except for the audition build. It was like our first build together.
So what did you guys build?
You know,
we built. So the brief for the audition was build a character.
Oh, cool.
Not surprising after last season's winners, right? With character masters, to the T, and we built a rat that was fighting a cheese monster.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
so
awesome.
Just weirdness, and
it was
what I really loved about it, and if we would have kicked out then, like Max said, it was already a great afternoon. Because the pieces were weird, and I could just see Max putting these weird pieces together into ways that I thought, yep, you do well, and I could just help him. Hey, this is falling apart, and well, if you did like this, it'll stay together. So I saw
he's good with making it strong.
A way of working together that I thought, this might actually work.
At least you guys didn't pull Matt and Lynn, because Matt was notoriously known from season 1 for building stuff that used to fall apart all the time.
Oh yeah, no. So that was my Lego building at home. I'd always be building stuff that would like fall apart, and then Dad has been building Lego for so much longer that he knows how to do it without it falling apart.
Well, and also too, the pieces now are different.
Oh yeah, that was one thing I was worried about as well. You know, I'd taken a little bit of a break from building Lego because I was like getting into the later years of high school, and I was focusing on that. And then we were like, all right, we're gonna go build Lego pretty much full time for the show. I have to learn about all these new pieces that I haven't seen in ages.
Because there's heaps of new ones. There's a new piece they just released. It's like a 2x2 block that has a spring in it now as well. Yeah, it's in one of the new sets that's coming up.
Oh,
I saw that on one of the brick set websites. So I was like, oh.
Nice.
They're doing that now? Like, you know how your brain's like, what? Like, what? And it's just some weird character that they're doing.
Springs, all right.
Okay,
That's
cool.
gonna be fun.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I saw it on one of the, I think it was Brickset or one of those websites. It came up as like a thing. I was like, oh, that's a new part, another new part, because there's so many new parts now.
Yeah,
so.
and they add it kind of like, it's not slow, is it? They have like a few new pieces that they just release, and they're like, here's some sets with all these new pieces.
Yeah,
right?
I think going forward from what I heard through the grapevine is that starting either next year or the year after, every set's going to have a custom part.
Oh, wow.
Every set. It seems like a weird constraint.
Yeah, it's really weird. That's what I heard, and I was like, really? That's how they went broke last time? Like,
pretty much.
You know,
exactly. that wasn't working for them last time. So,
and then I heard it. I was like, nah, surely not. And I've heard through a few people, not Lego Australia, so don't sue me. Like, I've heard through different people that's what's happening, and I was like, oh, that's an odd thing to do.
Yeah,
it didn't work last time. It didn't.
I think it's just also too they're trying to challenge the brick because there is so many. New
other
brands,
people
right?
trying to.
But there's all these
new
brands
are
now.
actually getting better and better. And I have spoken to designers and asked them, look, injection molding is not that high tech. You know, it's been around in your company for 90 years, so other companies can do this.
There's a company based out
What's
of the
your
UK
competition?
that are making some really good stuff, and they sent me some samples, and I was like, oh, this is because they make army tanks and stuff, and obviously Lego don't, right? So I was like, oh, this is really good, and it moves and it doesn't break, and I was like, oh. Because your brain goes, oh, this is like bad for the brand because, you know, competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe it isn't. Maybe it'll keep them on their toes and
well, every company, no matter how big they are, they need to be innovative, right? They don't want to get stuck at times.
Yeah.
I think it's easy when you're number one to be like, meh.
Yeah, but I think they'll maybe if they slip a little, they'll realize and then they'll get back.
Oh, for sure. So with Lego Masters, did you guys want to talk about what happened on set and how was the set?
I mean, yeah.
I know what I want to talk about, but it's up to you guys.
I'm happy to talk about it.
Are you guys happy to talk about it? Like,
it's a thing that happened, so I'm not going to just pretend it. Like,
so those watching at home would have realized that one team in particular, Lexi and Rachel, some of the things that were said on TV weren't the greatest, and we're aware everyone who watched the show could sense there was issues. How was it on set during the time with Lexi and Rachel?
Well,
you're the first guys I've asked. I thought I won't ask the other guys. I thought I'd ask you guys.
I guess interesting is a way to put it.
I mean, a way I've explained it to people is they only kept the good parts in the editing.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't tell you anything, then and we spend a lot of it.
Ooh, spicy. Dan, can you put a little emote spicy content?
Just a little warning.
We specifically developed a very close relationship with Rach. We spent a lot of time with her at night just watching.
I don't know, Lexi. I was just going to put out there. I have never interacted with her. I've only interacted with her on social media because of Lego Masters. Yeah. But I have spoken to Rachel, so I know one side. So this is why I thought I would ask the people that were in the room when it was all going down.
So in my view, I mean, I love Rach to bit. We spent a lot of time with her. When we left, I felt most bad about that we weren't being able to support her anymore. We were, I think our job off set was to distract her, right? Just have a laugh, watch weird TV, build a bit of Lego, have ice creams, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was
whatever like annoyances and like things have happened during the day.
So did it become a toxic environment for Rachel?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think she was the only one who could handle it without committing murder. Seriously.
Yeah.
She
Can
is
you say
such
that
an
as a tagline for the social media, Dad? Awesome.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
The only one who can handle Lexi without committing murder. Wow.
So,
my God.
So did it get that bad? Because I've heard rumors and I've heard stories, but I wanted to ask people that were actually there.
There were times where Lexi was fine and maybe just a bit quiet. That's fine. But there were other times maybe when everyone got stressed, sure. But the stress takes tolls on people very differently. And I guess for Lexi, it just took a bit more of a toll, maybe. There were times where it felt a bit like everyone against Lexi just from something she'd say, and then everyone would get behind each other to kind of defend what she's like themselves against her. So it felt a bit like everyone against Lexi after a while, just because she was ticking off so many people, and it kind of I don't know, it kind of I feel like brought everyone else closer, because having a shared person who isn't nice helps bring everyone else closer in a way.
That's fair, because what I've seen, like, obviously I'm not a part of the show, but being so close to the show and knowing a lot of people that work on the show, and obviously we work with Channel 9 to do podcasts, right? So when I saw there was a post you guys were all together on Instagram or something, and Lexi commented and did a post saying that you guys basically bullied her not to be in social media.
So
yes,
the thing,
and you would have seen that because you're probably ups with social media, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it was the finale viewing get together that we organised.
The thing with that is we didn't go, all right, we want all the Lego Masters of our season to come and watch this finale. We want all of the friends who
that was
we've
in
made.
Newcastle, right?
It was in Newcastle, yeah. So we decided for the finale, let's get all of our friends who have been following along Lego Masters with us, all of the Lego Masters that we are friends with, all of our family, whoever, together to watch. So it wasn't, let's do all the Lego Masters, let's exclude Lexi. It was more of a, let's just get all of the friends we've made from Lego Masters and bring them. And it just happened that Lexi wasn't one of the friends that we made. So we weren't purposely excluding. If Lexi blatantly asked, hey, can I come? Hell, we probably would have said, yeah. But
I know it was hard because we were talking to Paul and Trent, because we obviously filmed with Paul and Trent before the finale, right? And it got released later. That's how we usually do them. And you'll notice this will get released later too, so we can edit and make it look like fancy, you know, like
spicy content.
That's exactly
a lot of editing to make this look fancy, but anyway.
Good luck. We got invited to go, right? And I said, look, I'd love to, but I don't want to be there. It's not my thing because I'm not a part of the show, right? I don't want to be just this dude that's flying up to be. And I asked about Lexi, and his reaction was everything. I'm just laughing because of the noises outside. Yeah. His reaction gave away to me that obviously something was wrong.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
And just to put a little bit of context to that particular event, right? Like
finale,
Max said, Lexi handled the pressure in a way that was just not team building, right? And that created friction. Everyone was stressed. This is an environment where you cannot pretend. Yeah. Right? You're going to get tired. You're going to get under pressure. Your real you will come out. And the way that came out with her just wasn't great in team building. But part of her personality that worked against building the team is that she's fairly self-absorbed. That particular event, she wasn't the only season 4 contestant who wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly.
But she didn't notice that. She said, I'm the only one not there. And I'm like, have you counted? There were 14 people there.
Couldn't make it, or other people
so there was
didn't
not
want to come.
Everyone.
No, not everyone was there. Dan wasn't there either. He couldn't make it. So it's a little bit, Did we bully you?
No.
Maybe. You were part of a group chat that you decided to leave.
When
the
we were
invitation was
organising.
there.
Yeah.
So she left before So she left. See, this is the thing that people
ages ago. So.
And it was just because
Anyway.
she didn't like any of us. She thought that we were constantly being rude to her and stuff. She was like, I don't want anything to do with you, and left. And we were like, well, you can't get mad at us then for not being invited to these things. You left the invitation.
Well, and also too, I heard, and I don't know how much truth this is to this, that she was transported separately to the show. So there was a group bus or something, but was she transported separately?
No, not really.
Yeah.
She tended to choose the emptier bus.
Okay, yeah.
But
buses,
it wasn't, officially, it was nothing like that. No.
And after a while, I think this was right before we left, and then for the rest of the show, she had her own green room for herself.
Wow.
So there were 2 green rooms initially, just whoever could sit wherever, really. And then as it got smaller and smaller, I guess everyone moved to one green room.
Yeah, that's fair,
And
because
there
it's a
was-
smaller group.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So there was
You don't want to
the
spread
cool
across.
group, and then there was Nick and Jean.
Yes,
Sort of
yeah.
Wait until you watch Nick and Jean's podcast. So theirs comes out later, and you guys will see it. It'll obviously be before you, and you guys will send me a message, and you'll laugh because some of the things those guys say is totally Nick and Jean.
Yes.
Because we
I
know
love
that,
those
like,
guys. I love them to bits.
Jean's not happy he didn't win, but that's fine, and that's okay. You're
Yeah,
okay.
fair enough.
It's you're allowed to be a bit upset that you didn't win.
Yeah, went all the way to the final. I get that. Yeah, but so there was the 2 green rooms, and then we moved to one, and then there was a big, like, I guess there was a moment, and from then on, Lexi kind of had her own green room, and everyone else just.
Was that her purposely being by herself and not wanting to be included?
I think she took it as an opportunity to be by herself and not be included, just because maybe it was easier for her. I mean, it was definitely easier for all of us. If she didn't ask, we probably would have asked, because it was just we come offset to the green room so we can chill, have some food, and just like relieve pressure. And if we come offset and immediately have to deal with someone still shouting at us or something, like, we're not gonna like that. So
Well, and it's all. Lego Masters is stressful, no matter what aspect. It's going to be stressful. It's a competition. And if you're the first season, you could totally go in, and I understand, like, with what happened with Kale, I get it, right? Because you don't know what's happening. It's the first season. But 4 seasons in, you know it's a competition now. You know there's pressure.
yeah,
You know that you're not going to get along with some people, because that's what happens.
exactly.
And I'm not sure whether it's the competition effect that was big. I know the producers were hammering all of us. Do you realize how much money you can win?
Yeah.
Do you realize this is a competition? We were like,
Yes.
excited. Money. Shall we build?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there to just,
So, like, have fun,
we
right?
were,
Yeah.
but also we didn't want to mess up. We didn't want to put something down that just was terrible. So when we did our big blue weird column rocket thing, we didn't feel
It does
We didn't
look very
feel
phallic.
Yes.
we didn't feel good about that build, and that's the exact thing we didn't want, right?
I think that's the best way I could say it, right?
When we had like our microphones on here, because that's how they, you have a little microphone attached to your chest, and we came off set and we were in the green room, and we were like, oh, we've just made a huge, or whatever word you want to use to describe that. And the producers came into the room and they were like, can you say that? And then we got on set, and another producer was like, can you not say that?
Because they're like, don't they?
Big blue shaft, I guess, sorry, with like an orange top and like colors around the bottom that just looked a bit like balls because we didn't finish them. So I guess
D-Mac's all like, don't say it.
I'm a teenager, I need to make
D-Mac
these
has that
jokes.
vein too, so his vein will be like popping out, so you can't.
Lovely.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
That's what it looked
well,
like. It was like,
that's-
I'm glad you guys said it, because we were all like,
Yeah, it
why
was.
did he build a penis? on
That was
national
what
TV?
it was. We just cut it down the half. Like,
I mean, at that point, it was, we lost half the episode. And it was like, we just need to build something that's big enough that we can put stuff inside, and then we'll just focus on. So we needed something that we could quickly put up, and it just happened to turn out not quite as we hoped.
yeah.
See how Dad's been trying to be really nice about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been like children, like,
It's
you built a dick.
A
Like,
penis.
it's like,
Yes. I'm very sorry to all the children who had to sit with parents going.
So when Mummy and Daddy love each other very much.
They put a big blue. Yeah.
If it's blue, you've got problems.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
There's probably cream for that, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I haven't experienced that, so I don't know.
next episode. That's a big
Next episode,
blue.
make a big
Anyway,
Vaseline jar.
Well,
Jeez.
well, it's all. Whoa.
How do we get here?
I could already see this getting cut out.
Inviting a teenager.
leave
This
it
is what
all
you
in.
get.
Spicy content covering our faces. Yeah.
I just clicked the not safe for
Yeah,
kids
there we
button
go.
on YouTube, so we're good.
We've got the PG version here. That's 15 seconds, and here's the full.
Yeah.
But it's good that you can look back on it and laugh about it.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not... I'm glad you guys didn't get upset that you left. You know how it's always hard, because some people, depending on which season, hold resentment towards their season. Because it happens.
Yeah.
And you can probably pick each season which team didn't last long and got upset at the end. And now they don't talk to each other because that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you can sit back and go, we had a good time. You know, obviously there was issues with Lexi, but that's what it is.
And honestly, what Max said is true. I mean, we have to give Lexi props for actually gluing us together.
Yeah.
I think we were immensely close because we were locked in a room together, right?
And then even
But
closer.
also because she sort of irked everyone up, and that created a bond with us, which is terrible towards her, but at the same time, you know, thank you.
Yeah,
It
but-
helped.
Where it's
Otherwise,
really
we
hard.
probably would have had 2 or 3 groups.
Well, and it's really hard not to say things that's going to upset people, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially in this environment. It's free. You can talk and do whatever you want. At the end of the day, we're all adults. And
Yes.
everyone handles pressure differently. I'm guilty of it. You guys are probably guilty of it. Sometimes the pressure gets to you, and it happens. But a part of being an adult is learning how to forgive and forget and try and move past it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, Rachel had a really bad experience. I've heard about it. A lot of people who are around the show, have worked with the show, has heard how bad it got. That's why I wanted to ask you guys, because I'm like, well, now's the time to ask. Because I didn't want to spring it on Josh and Henry, because, you know, they won and they want to be all like, oh, yeah, the Lego Masters is awesome, because, you know, they won the money, right?
Yeah,
So,
once they get it in their bank accounts, then they can talk about it. No,
are they still waiting?
not. I
No,
think
no,
they've
no,
gotten
I
it
think
by
it-
now.
Did they get their trophies yet?
Not sure about
Yeah,
the
not sure about
trophies, but I
trophies,
think they
but
got
money.
the money.
Because
Yeah.
I know they're waiting for their trophies for
Yeah.
ages.
I mean, that's I guess up to Australia Post or something. I'm not sure.
I
how
heard
they
it wasn't
give
built. So when they visited, they were
Wasn't built
meant to,
yet?
so they were meant to have it and they didn't have it. So
Wow, righto.
Just give them a big pile of yellow and say, "This
Make
is
it
your
yourself.
trophy."
build it yourself. Like,
Instructions will
Josh
come.
is telling them, here you
Yeah.
go, you build it yourself.
Exactly. There was a day I think where we're doing the trailer that first came out, where
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
running through the jungle, and they had this big like crate full of like trophies and like smaller trophies, big trophies, the trophy, swords, Lego swords that you see Josh and Henry
Oh,
with.
cool, yeah.
And oh god, I was so tempted to just, because we're based in Sydney, so, and we were filming in Sydney, I was so tempted to just call like mum and my brother Warren and be like, bring the car, I'm gonna throw something in, I want you to drive away.
Don't look, just take it.
Just don't look, don't ask questions, it's our trophy. And then they can just drive away with
Well,
it.
I heard certain someone who won the first Christmas special wasn't meant to get a Lego trophy and took it.
Really?
That's what I heard. And
I
we've had
didn't
him
know
on our
that.
podcast previously. And so I heard that
Good on
recently
you,
and I was
Michael.
like, huh.
I've seen someone from
with that
the-
trophy.
with that
Yeah,
Exactly,
Look
right?
cool.
So
yeah.
just guess who it is. But, well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know who won again. Michael.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
It's the only way Michael could win something, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's because he wasn't with Harry. But that's fine, that's fine. But
Okay, this is going well.
Claws are out.
well, that's right. Well, I wanted to say
Oh,
thank
boy.
you so much for you guys coming down, being on our podcast. It's been awesome.
Yeah. it's fun
As
to
long
be
as
here.
you guys are happy, that's all that matters. Did you
Yeah.
have
Of
a good
course,
time?
yeah, no.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent.
It was an
time, and-
excellent experience. And,
That's awesome.
and yeah, I feel like we left on a high as well. I was proud of our last build, and I just would have felt terrible if any of the other teams would have left in that episode.
That's fair.
Because I loved Calix and Alex's builds,
So you're glad that
and I'm so happy that they stayed.
Andrew and Crystal left? Is that
Well,
Not really. No, actually.
Yeah,
No, I would have loved
No.
to see more.
Gotta
I
put the
really
stinger in
like.
there just in case.
No, I really liked their style, and I really loved their last build as well. I kept looking
Andrew
at
is
it.
such a great builder. It's such a shame that he's
And
missing-
Andrew's shouting dinner tonight, so he's
yeah, so he is
he's got
in
all
Melbourne,
that project
so-
money now. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
If he wants us to disappear, we will. So there was the thing is, we didn't want to see any of them go home, but the reality of them going home happened after a while, and we just didn't want to go home first. That was like our goal. We were like, we didn't go home first. Yes. Oh, now going home. Oh well, we didn't go home first because that was our
That's the main thing.
goal.
Mm.
So you mentioned before, like people being potentially upset with how they left.
yeah,
We weren't upset because all we wanted was to get onto the show, and then when we were there, we were like, as a bonus, let's not get eliminated first. we got the bonus, and
we
were
won
more
it.
than happy.
Yeah, so we pretty much won.
We
As
won
far
an
as that
outlet,
goes.
Yeah.
Well, at least you had a good time. Well, big thank you for flying down, being on our
All good.
podcast.
No, thank you.
Thanks
We
for having
appreciate it.
us.
Thanks for visiting the store.
A
Thanks.
good store. You guys.
Cool
you guys
store.
should come. It's huge.
It's
Yeah.
Big store.
And he works at Lego stores.
Oh, you shouldn't have. You shit store. Don't come here.
Oh, boy.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.